Hey guys, welcome to another Occ-Cast. We're here at the headquarters of Billabong, and I'm here with the most influential man in my life, I'd have to say, seriously. Settle down. It's Gordon Merchant, the founder of Billabong.
Hey mate.
Thanks for being on the Occ-Cast, Gordo.
No worries.
How have you been?
Yeah, good.
Good. I'm thinking, wow, where do we start? My goodness, it's been 44 years for you.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's been over 30 for me.
There you go.
And it feels weird me interviewing you. It should be like my brother Rocky interviewing us. Like, remember Rocky? Jack McCoy made him up in one of the movies.
Oh,
Rocky,
okay.
Rocky was with Margot somewhere. It was one of those skits that Jack McCoy used to do. But anyway, yeah.
Like the fork in the road.
Yeah, like the fork in the road. There's been a few of those. Gordo, I'm just going to start way back in the beginning, I guess. Where did you grow up?
I moved around a fair bit. I was first in Sydney till I was 5, I think, 6. And then we actually moved to a farm in St Mary's, which is just near Penrith, below the Blue Mountains there. And I was there till I was, I think, about 11, and then we went down to, went to Randwick and lived in Randwick. And used to walk down to Coogee and surf a surfer plane down to Coogee.
Okay.
Yeah, and played football for the school. And then we went back to St Mary's again. I think I was probably about 12 then. I was just starting first year at high school. And I was there till I was 16. And used to ride a horse to school and all sorts of things. It was a farm in the early days was no electricity, no running water, one tank between 6 people, one tank of water between 6 people. You were able to have a bath once a week.
Wow.
And there was like that much water in the bottom of the bath, right? And I was always the last person to get in. I used to look at it and go, I'd rather stay dirty than get in that water.
Just go for surf.
There was no surf.
At what time did you move to the Gold Coast? Was that your next move?
No.
'Cause you travelled the world, right?
1959 I moved to Maroubra, and that's when I started surfing. It was October 1959. I lived at Narrabeen for a while, then Newport, and then Collaroy. That was when I was working for Scott Dillon, I was sanding for Scott Dillon, sanding boards for Scott Dillon. And I was there with McTavish and a whole bunch of guys, Warwick Smith, Mick Dooley, Bob and Peter Pike. It was, fun time.
A fun time?
Yeah, it was,
Just
yeah.
Surfing, shaping?
Yep. No, it wasn't shaping
Not
then.
yet.
Bob Kennerson was working there and he taught McTavish and me to shape.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he showed us the basics, yeah. From there, I caught a boat. I jumped a boat and went to Africa. I'd shaped boards for, who was it? Batchy and Tony Wright, John Bachelador and Tony Wright. And
this was early days though, because
this is 1966, 67,
that was the
67.
year I was born. Because you did invent the tucked under edge, but this is later.
Yeah, I can get to that.
You'll get to that. Okay, so let's go back to the boat. How long did it take?
3 weeks. It took 3 weeks
to get to South Africa?
It did, yeah. And
Wow.
I remember riding in... Yeah, it was wild because I didn't have a clue what to expect.
Was it rough?
I'd shaped boards for Tony Wright and John Bachelador, and they had already been there before me, and they'd wrote back to me and told me that there was good waves over there, and they were having fun. So I was kind of at a loose end. I'd lost my mother and was looking to, just sort of, I guess, find myself really. And so I jumped a boat and went to Africa, and like I said, it took 3 weeks. We got to Cape Town and John Whitmore met us. John Whitmore was the local board manufacturer in Cape Town at the time. John Whitmore got me a job in Cape Town, and I worked for the local board shaper there, or board builder there. Brian O'Donnell, was Viking Surfboards. And that's when I met up with a couple of local guys there, and I think it was about, been working there 3 months, and I'd saved up a little bit of money, and I bought an old car, an old Willys van with a friend, Eric Taylor, who used to come from Bondi, was on the same boat.
Yeah.
And we both got off to Cape Town together. And everybody else went on to Durban.
Yeah.
Durban was the place to be, but we wanted to go to Cape Town and see what that was like. But anyway, so we got this old Willys van and we drove it up to Jeffreys because we'd heard there was waves up there. And when we got to Jeffreys, we went, whoa.
It was all time.
Yeah, it was all time.
Was there a road into Jeffreys? Or?
Yeah, there was a track. There was a track,
Okay.
That,
How many houses there?
not many at all.
Not many.
You know where Sharon's house is? There was a couple before that. We were living in the last house on the
point?
On the point there.
Wow.
It was back from the point.
A little back.
Yeah.
What would be the average amount of people you would be surfing within the water at J Bay?
Not very many.
Not many?
No.
Like six,
I used to
five?
surf, yeah, probably about that. Depending on it was the weekend, a few of the PE guys used to show up.
Yeah.
And if it was a swell and the Cape Town guys knew about it, they'd come up, you know.
Yeah.
And every now and again you'd get a bunch of the Durban guys come down,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the time, you know, we were there quite a period, so yeah, we got a lot.
Yeah.
I remember...
A lot of empty days, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, see, we weren't even surfing super tubes then. We were surfing the point and tubes.
Oh, you weren't surfing up?
No.
Oh,
Well,
right.
at the start, right?
At the start.
Then two guys showed up from Australia called Murray Lee and Peter In, right? And I didn't know Peter In, but I knew Murray Lee. I knew Murray Lee as a reputation because he was a big wave surfer from Manly.
Yeah.
And we got this swell while they were there. It was like 12-foot plus super tubes.
Yeah.
Like, it was big, you know, and we've all just gone, I'm not trying to go out there.
Yeah, right.
And these guys went out there. And
they rode
we
it?
stood on the sand dunes and directed them to between the sets to get out.
To get out, yeah.
And they got out there, and they were killing it out there. You know?
Looked-
And they were the first guys to ever surf super
Surf
tubes.
super
yeah,
tubes.
yeah. And then we started surfing after
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Because I guess when it's bigger, it's not as fast as when it's like 4 to 6
Well, it
feet.
used to, it's. I
Was
think
it different then?
Yeah, I think it was because the sand dunes were there. I think a lot more sand blew into the ocean.
Oh, so it was
And
different.
so the wave it wasn't so acute to the reef.
To the reef.
It broke out a little bit wider and probably wasn't quite as fast as what it
Yeah.
is right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a big winter. That winter, I remember surfing swell after swell there, and just thinking, I want to go and surf something else. You know.
Yeah, right.
We used to go into PE when it was really big, and,
Okay.
and surf a place called the Fence.
Oh, right.
And it
was
was
that the wedge? No.
It was like a wedge. It was
Yeah.
like a wedge.
Yeah.
It had a breakwater that went out
Yeah,
about 45 degrees,
Yeah.
and the swell would come in, hit the breakwater, and then bounce off the breakwater, and go down, travel down the beach in this like perfect right angle. Or it was peak.
Yeah,
Perfect
I've
peak.
surfed it. I've
And
surfed it
yeah,
with
right.
Andy
Okay.
Owens,
And
yeah.
it's just this
It's
perfect
incredible.
right and left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just barreled down the beach. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
How much was that boat ticket to get to? Was it did you buy a return ticket?
Shit,
the boat?
I think the price of the fare was $280. We changed from pound to dollars in 1966.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was in that was an 8-berth cabin, right? And
Really?
I had a friend there who got me into a 6-berth cabin.
And it was full? 6 people?
You're in the bowels of the boat. It was,
Wow.
it was, yeah, it was shocking.
Was it
we were
animals and
on
stuff?
it was a Greek liner returning to Greece, all these immigrants that had got this like free trip to Australia and went, yeah, we've seen Australia, now we're going back home. And I'd never seen a boat so full in all my life.
Oh, no.
It was just packed.
You didn't get seasick?
Well, no, I didn't
fine.
actually. I
That's
was
good.
fine, yeah. We hit a swell coming
You
out of
did?
Perth.
Yeah.
It was like about, 30-foot swell,
Wow.
and this big boat was just going up
Oh.
and down, and they were trying to set up breakfast. I remember them trying to set up breakfast, and they'd hit these swells, and the whole lot would just go on the floor. They'd set it all up again, and the whole lot would go on the floor again. I think I was the only one eating during that trip.
Yeah, right. Everyone else is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're back. You're back
Yeah.
on the. You're back in Australia. It's probably early 70s.
Yeah, 1970 was April 1970 when I got back to Australia. Yeah.
And so you came back and shaped.
I was shaping for Joe Larkin.
Joe Larkin. Wow.
Yeah. I had a little clientele from Cronulla and
Yep.
Maroubra,
Yep.
and I was building a few boards at Joe's. That was when Brian Austin was there. He was the main shaper. And Michael Peterson was just a kid. He was like 15, or 16, I think he was, yeah. And Rabbit used to stick his head in, and PT used to stick their heads in after school. You know. Yeah.
This is where?
This is Mile Street, Kira.
Kira, yeah.
Yeah, Kira, yeah. His factory was there, yeah.
Sweet. And then let's go to Billabong.
Yeah.
That's just a couple of years later. You started Billabong.
Yeah, it was 73.
73. You started with Rena.
Yep.
And what brought that on?
Well, before I went overseas, before I caught the boat to Africa, I had a friend, Tommy Moses, that had started. I was actually coming to the Gold Coast for a holiday because he'd done his tailor apprenticeship at Zink's Menswear at Oxford Street in Sydney, right? And he'd come up, he'd saved, I think it was like £300 or something at the time, and he was going up to the Gold Coast for a holiday. And I said, why don't you start making clothing? Because there's no clothing, modern clothing for young guys, you know? Not just for surfers, just for anybody.
General.
Yeah, just in
general.
What
was it like, just King G's and just really
and men's suits and men's wears that had very traditional clothing, you know?
Nothing you want to wear.
And we were in the middle of the hippie area, you know? It's like we wanted something, pretty out there, you know? And we wanted, stuff that was fun, and there was nothing like that. And so they cottoned on to the idea, and we thought of the name. We called it Cream Clothing.
Cream Clothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I helped him design his first range.
Yeah.
And when I got back in 1970, he was killing it. He was with Bob Cooper, and he had this bus, and he'd crew up and down the coast, and he was selling these velveteen shirts with embroideries on, and board shorts, and all sorts of stuff. Corduroy pants, and he was doing really well. And I was still skating boards, and I thought, shit, I don't want to be an old shaper. So I thought, well, and I met with Rena, and Rena was already making the crocheted bikinis and doing a pair of board shorts that she was making. And so I thought, well, let's see if we can, do something with that, And that's kind of where we started. And then where did you get the name? On the kitchen table, we'd make about 20 pairs a week, and we put them in the shops on consignment. Yeah.
And where did the name Billabong come from?
I was building boards on the Gold Coast, still building boards during this period, because Billabong hadn't really got off the ground, or it was still subsidising our income through me building surfboards. And I had a sander that was working for me, and I was trying to come up with a name, and I said, look, I want something Australian. And he said, well, why don't you just call it Billabong? And I went, yeah, okay.
And that was it?
That was it.
That easy?
That was it.
I
thought, well, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek for Australia, but if you ever got overseas, it'd probably be a good name because people remember it.
Yeah. So when did you realise you had something special happening with Billabong?
It was always hard. I mean, we started we had no money, so it was just a struggle right from the beginning. And it was, there was no bank or anything like that wanted to give you an overdraft or anything like that. So you just had to battle on. And it probably wasn't. I was competing against my main competitor in those days was probably Quicksilver, who'd started a couple of years prior to me.
Okay.
And a few of the local brands that were around, but most of the people that were manufacturing board shorts weren't surfers, so they didn't really know what they were doing. Right? They just made shorts that looked like what you should go surfing in, but they weren't really practical.
Okay, to comfortable and
like cut properly for a surfer, whereas a pair of board shorts, that's going to surf in. So that kind of made it easy for Alan Green and myself, whereas we were surfers, so we knew about what a surfer wanted.
Yeah.
But competing against Alan Green with Quicksilver was tough because he was always seemed to be one step ahead of me. And until it got to the point where the shorts had got ridiculously short, and Tom Carroll was wearing those really tiny little shorts, and I thought, this is getting all too silly, and I thought, well, I'm going to go even sillier. I'm going to make them long.
Oh, you made the Occ-Cast?
Yeah, I made the Occ-Cast, right, And
were they easy to surf in? Then we used to get our knees caught in.
No, but they look good.
They look good.
No, there was such a change. Fashion's really practical. Fashion's fashion. It's like whatever's going on that they'll wear. The original board shorts actually came down below your knees.
Wow.
Right. And that was to protect your knees, But this is right. This is going way back when, Well, I can't say all the shorts were like that. There were the ones we grew up with that we bought were like that. They came down below your knees. And they were actually called Occ-Cast. I think Occ-Cast is actually a Hawaiian word.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's funny because I've got such short legs, they still go over my knees.
You had to roll them up because they were long pants.
I met you in Cronulla, Cronulla Surf Design. Mark Aprilovic had the store there, and I was a little, little ratting around,
Grommet,
just trying to get free stuff.
Yeah.
And then and I was lucky enough. And that was the start of our relationship.
Mark introduced us.
He said, I've got someone you want to meet.
Yeah, a little grom, and they got potential. So he said, sure.
Hey, got
Yeah.
And that was the start of it.
Yeah, and it never got serious until you went in the boat repairs and got third.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And then the next year you've gone, I want to go on the tour.
I did.
I've gone, you're too young.
I did. And
Terry Fitzgerald will send me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hot button.
Yeah. I said, someone else wants to send me. But I remember that so vividly because I had my manager back then. I was in Sydney at Brian Walsh's office that used to manage me. And I was with Jim Banks too, I think, and we called you up. Right. And he said, well, it's going to cost you $40,000. Well, it should have been not that much back then.
No, it would have been.
It would have been, to do the whole tour.
Airfares,
yeah.
Cool.
They were
Easy.
expensive way back in the day.
Yeah, easy.
And and I remember you like going, oh, I don't know. It's like, is it too young? And then eventually you said, yep, I'll do it. And it was the best day of my life. I'm like, I'm going on tour. I drove home, or Jim drove home so fast, I went back and told my parents, they're like, what?
How old were you?
It was a break. I was only 16.
16.
And then,
I travelled with you most of that year.
Yeah, we did. We travelled mostly together. Not the very first trip though. Like yourself, I jumped on a plane and went to.
Where'd you go?
South Africa. Went to Durban and competed in the Gunston 500.
Right.
Well, actually, no. We went together. What am I talking about? Because I'm getting the years mixed up. Because remember, we went to Sharon's first and we surfed J Bay.
Yeah.
And then I get the years mixed up.
I'm starting to recall
There's so many years, but I remember, and it might have been my second year. It was. No, the first year I went on the plane with Greg Day, and they kind of took care of me. I might have went all right, might have made the quarters, but I remember I stayed in one of those old hotels there on the beach.
Right.
But then I think it might have been the next year we were there together, and we stayed with Sharon and Ari, and then the Durban contest was coming up, and she said, "You're not coming back to stay with me unless you win it."
Oh shit.
That was a bit harsh. And her house was right on the point, in the most perfect spot ever. I've got my room, and Gordon, we went and stayed with her every year, didn't we? But she said that, and I'm like, wow, that's a big call. But I went, and I did win. I beat Sean Thompson in the final.
Wow.
Yeah, and I came back, and I remember Peter Daniels shaped me the board.
Yeah, Pepsi.
Yeah. And and I came back, and I'm like, I won. And she was like, wow, I'm not going to get rid of this kid, am I? But what times that we had?
I was in the first Gunston, right?
You were?
And I had Sean Thompson in my heat.
Oh, you did?
And he was a little grommet, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't into surfing, contests, and they just taught me, because they wanted an Australian in there. And it was the very first Gunston. And I remember...
Peter Burness was running it.
Yeah. And I remember this wave came through, and I looked at Sean, and I said, do you want it? And he said, yeah. I said, it's yours.
Oh, you gave it to him?
You gave it to him, yeah.
Because it was Sean Thompson?
Yeah, no, because he was a young grommet.
Oh, he was a
grommet.
nobody
at the time.
Right.
But he was a young grommet that was really keen, and I just went,
go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. At what point in time, we'll go back to Billabong, did you start expanding overseas?
First one was Japan.
Wow.
Yeah. Matsumoto.
And, we went to Japan together.
Yeah.
We went there for the contest, and then you'd done that. Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was before or after.
After.
Yeah. Not sure. Because he'd come to Australia. I met him here in Australia, and
he did.
Yeah. And all we were doing really was just sending board shorts to his local surf shop.
Yeah.
It was so small time, But I think their surf shop was called Hole in the Wall, and it was in Osaka.
Okay.
And but that was the first things that we exported. But then I came to realise that Japan was heavily influenced by the US, and you weren't going to succeed in any big way in Japan until you were successful in the US. And it was then, I think, at one of the very first stubbies that Chipper Rollins came out.
Oh wow! Okay.
And approached me and said that he had a friend called Bob Hurley wanted to, was interested in licensing Billabong.
Yep.
And so then I went over in the US and met Bob. And
We did. Did I come too? I mean,
you came.
I came
Yeah,
too.
that trip. Yeah, exact trip.
We went.
Remember they had the contest and you had to surf against Brad Gerlach?
Yes.
They beat you.
He did.
You were pissed about it. And I said, don't worry about it.
I've got to mention that because I'm doing an Occ-Cast with him tomorrow.
I
am. He's here and he lives down in Torquay now, and he's coming up tonight to do one. It's Sker.
Oh, very good news.
He's moved to Australia. But we did.
He does the best imitation of Occ I've ever seen. He used to piss Occy off so much.
So much. I hated it. Right now I'd be sweet with it. But back then, I used to leave venues. There used to be a presentation, and he'd get up and take me off, and I'm out of there. I'm going home. I'm not even getting my trophy. I'm not happy at all. And I'm going to put that on him too tomorrow. But hey, Gordo, we pretty much travelled that whole year. Like, we stayed at Bob's house for those first couple of years, and when I had all that success, winning the US Open, which was back then the OP Pro, or let's call it the US Open, back to back, and with Tom Curran in the days. Was that the time when Billabong really started going well, or was it just after that?
That put us on the map, Occ.
Yeah.
That was so good for us. To beat Tom Curran at Huntington Beach in the US was just amazing, and then do it 2 years in a row. It's just unbelievable. Like, because Tom Curran was like the god of surfing in the US. I mean, the guy is a phenomenal surfer.
Oh, unbelievable.
To beat him there was just amazing. That really kind of put us on the map. And
so you gave Bob Hurley the licensee?
Well, Bob was just a small-time surfboard shaper, the same as what I had been, and his partner, Joe Caninchal, was a school teacher.
Wow.
So they knew nothing about building clothing or board shorts in particular. So I had to go there and train them. Train them.
Train them?
The first year, I made everything here on the Gold Coast and sent it to them, right? And there was no signed agreement, no letters of credit, anything like that. It was just a handshake, and as he sold them, he sent me the money back.
Oh, okay.
Right? I didn't even do a costing on doing it.
Wow,
right? I just did it, right? And I was just lucky that it all worked out well, because at that particular time the Australian dollar devalued to about 50 cents.
Oh, wow.
So everything came back double.
Thank you very much.
So it worked out really well.
Yeah.
But, I remember when I said that it came out that Bob Hurley and Joe Caninchal were going to be the licensees for Billabong in the US. I think Quicksilver just killed themselves laughing, because these guys had no experience at all, Yeah. But after the first year, I think the laugh
was the other way.
Yeah, they were doing 15 million, we turned over 5, I think it was. But,
Wow.
So they had a serious competitor. Yeah.
Gordon, the 80s was such a good time for both of us, travelling around the world.
Yep.
Me competing, you doing Billabong. Any highlights for you? I can remember a fair few.
Shit, there's a lot, wasn't there?
Oh, we just talked about the
OP
Pro, I remember.
But the pipe was a big one, wasn't it? Yeah. Remember we were down there together, and we looked at this and we've just gone, no way, are you kidding me? They're going to put surfers out in that? It was like 20 feet. It was out of control. It was just ugly.
I was so scared.
Yeah, I was terrified, and I just went, oh my goodness, they're going to put surfers out in that? Anyway, so I said to Occ, look, it was a ridiculous format they had. You had to catch 6 waves. Like, to catch 6 waves in half an hour, that was just crazy, especially in that. So I said, look, just wait for the set to come in. After the set's broken, shoot straight in there, get a little one, and get out of there, So
that's
what he did.
Exactly what I did. I done it the whole day.
The whole day, that's what he did. And it was funny because we were also sponsoring Ronnie Burns.
Yeah.
And Ronnie Burns was the man for pike, you know, and he was unbeatable. And he should have beaten Ock, except that he only caught 5 waves, and Occy caught 6. So Occy won. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, we woke up in the morning that day because we were staying at Buddy McRae's house. The knee boarder that shaped for Blast back then, which was a Billabong licensee back then, had the house on the West Peak at sunset. Woke up that day and Randy Rarick came and said, it's on. And we're looking at Third Reef. I'm like, you can't be serious. He's like, go down there and look at it. It's on fire. And I got...
On fire?
Remember, well, we walked down, I went out with Rod Kersop.
Right.
And we shuffled through the crowd, it was like 5 deep. And I went to look at it, there was no one out there.
No.
I'm like, oh no, and everyone's like, what do I do? I'm like, we got to go. But that day, because it started like 15 feet and then it dropped through the day, didn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's the year that Joey Buran won. The next year, it was huge. The year I won.
The year you won was huge.
So huge. That's the highlight for me.
Yeah,
too.
that was a big highlight for sure, yeah. But other things that happened. There were so many things that happened.
That year?
Well, not that. No, but just in the 80s. Yeah. Like it was huge for Billabong, because we were expanding like 100% a year every year. You know, like it was just radical. I remember we went into the factory at Hibiscus Haven, and I looked at it after being in my house and thinking, shit. You know, this is huge. It was 1,000 square feet, which is like 100 square meters. It was tiny, in a couple of garages, you know, really. But within 12 months, I had the roof bowing because I'd had so much fabric suspended off it because there was nowhere else to put it. You know?
Is that one? This one just over here?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, it's Miami.
Miami,
Miami, up the road, just down from where we lived. And then. No, we were out at. We moved from there to Miami.
Out west.
Yeah, we were
and
out
then you
at
went to this
Gardens,
one over here.
Burley Gardens estate. We went out there. We were out there. Then we came over here. I built that one.
You built that one with the wave on top.
Yeah, the wave on top.
Yeah.
And the day we moved in, we had to rent also the factory on the obviously the other side of the road because it wasn't big enough.
Yeah. And then the 90s, I hibernated. Put on a lot of weight.
Yep.
Hibernation created depression, and then I was kind of MIA after probably 6 or 7 years on tour, maybe, or maybe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know
anyway,
that timeline.
but you remember the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Were you worried about me?
Of course.
Yeah.
I was just so pleased that Jack McCoy stepped in.
Yeah.
You know.
And then eventually you said, "Oh, come on."
Yeah, snap out of it. Get a grip.
Get a grip. Like you said, we can't keep paying you because we need you out there. And you sent me over to the west.
Yeah, that's right, with Jack. Yeah.
But you know what he did, Gordo, was he started filming me from when I had the weight. So they used it in the documentary, which was great. So people could see actually how big I was. It was a struggle to surf. I was way over 100 kilos.
I know.
Sent me over to West Oz, so I stayed with actually George Simpson and Tracy, which was
that's right. Yeah,
Jack's wife's sister.
Yeah,
they put me on the good program.
Yeah, they're good
ate
people.
really well, ran in tracksuit every day, and I came back and I'd lost probably 10 kilos, and I was back. And I mean, not back yet, but then I got through the trials. I drew Sonny, remember?
All right, yeah, that's
Sonny
right.
was going for the
that
world
was the big
title.
heat. Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, that was really heavy, wasn't it?
It was heavy.
Yeah, because there were lots of threats and lots of crap going on.
There was. I was very nervous.
Yeah.
We were staying together and I was asking your advice. I think I asked Ben Iper's advice, which was good. He's like, okay, you got to surf. You can't let him win. He's got to win on his own merit. That was probably the best person I talked to was Ben Iper. Yeah. He's like, okay, don't let him. And I kind of did.
You did.
I kind of was like, Sonny, like, because remember, I was riding
but
for Cowie.
He screwed up, didn't he?
He did. I was riding for Cowie Hill and straight up surfboards, and Sonny was too. So I was getting messages through Sonny, through Cowie. He gave me a word in Hawaiian, was called kukua, which means help. And I'm like, Sonny, I'll give you priority anytime I can. Which I did. I was sitting very wide. Everyone's like, what is he doing? He's giving it up. But then Sonny broke his board.
That what happened, right?
That's what happened. And then I'm left out there all by myself, and a bomb came, and I'm like, I can't not go it. Sonny gave me the big cuddle on the beach. I beat him, obviously, and that was a highlight for me in the, coming back late 90s. And then was my next question for you, Gordon, was I want to go back on tour.
Yeah.
And what did you say?
Forget it.
You didn't think it was a good idea.
No. I can't remember what I said. What did I say?
Well, you said to me, I don't think it's a good idea. You said
Oh,
because
I did it.
yeah. Well, just because you said, you know, you've come back all this way, you're fit. Just imagine you don't make it. It's not going to be a good look for you.
Oh yeah, righto.
You know what I mean?
The consequences of failing.
Yeah, consequences of failing.
But I should never underestimate you. You know, because you proved me wrong so many times. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Gordon, I'm going to do it. Like, I know I can do it. And then, I mean, you didn't say not no. When I said that, you're like, okay. Every time, like the first time when I said I want to go on tour, I think I can qualify. You were like, okay, well, you know, give them a go.
Yeah.
And just like the second time, you said I don't think it's a good idea, but then you said, okay, if you think you can do it, do it. You've always done that for me, so I very much appreciate that. You stuck by me, you know, in the dark days and the good days, and I will forever appreciate that.
Just remember, everybody has dark days.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You just got to get over it and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you just got to say, like, there's new days and it'll pass. Don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
And there's always a light there, and, you know, you'll wake up one day and you'll be feeling better and you can get back to where you were or where you want to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of people become too preoccupied with themselves rather than thinking about other things. And, you know, I think it's good for people that do suffer depression to try to get other interests and maybe go out and help other people, you know, and take their mind off thinking about themselves.
Yeah. You get caught in that thing, it just goes down and down.
Yeah.
You wake up, it's me, like, just wake up and do something different.
Yeah.
And the final pipe, Gord, I remember what happened, like, I got left out there because Rabbit and Michael Ho and they were jockeying for second reef.
I know, I was watching it. And Rabbit came in and suddenly drowned out there. They both lost their boards.
Yeah, they both
just got cleaned up. It was ridiculous.
Even like the other crew, like Max Medeiros and Mickey Nielsen, I think they got caught with them too. And I got left out there for like 20 minutes. I was wondering where everyone was.
It's not easy to get back out there, back in and get back out.
Yeah. So I re-qualified, and did you ever think I would get that world title after re-qualifying?
It's always hard. It's like, I knew you were surfing really well, but to win a world title, it takes a full year, and you can't let off.
No.
I think you probably got a couple of lucky breaks through that year too.
I did, yeah.
I think, what was the contest at Chopu?
Chopu, yeah.
Yeah, it was only small or something that year, wasn't it?
No, it was big,
what? I
yeah,
can't
yep.
remember.
It ended up small for the final day. I mean, in the final day it started at about 6 feet, but it tapered off to like 2 to 3 foot in the final against CJ Hobgood. But
that's right, you won that event, yeah?
yeah, and I won Chopu that year. But we did, it was big through the event.
Yeah, right.
But I was pretty lucky because I had a couple heats, once against Victor Ebus, and it was pretty big, and I wanted it a little bit more than him.
Right.
And then I had Shane Beshan, and it was big that day too, and I got over the edge there. But I mean, I was lucky I wasn't drawing like an Andy or a, yeah, exactly, or Shane Dorian or someone.
What were other contests during that year?
Well, the three I won that year, that one, and then I won Fiji too.
Right.
And it was pretty good, even though the final that year was pretty small too, and I was against Victor Ebus and then Mundaka. That were my 3 wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not too sure if you and Mundaka were with us that year. I don't think.
How big was it?
Mundaka, well, it was Unglet Mundaka that year.
Yeah.
So
that was when it was best when they had that.
Yeah, it was. So we had pumping beach breaks at Unglet. We made the quarterfinals, and then we got a big swell. So we had we moved up to Mundaka, and they finished it off there. And I think I beat Hurdy-Gill Hermie, and then in the final.
Right.
But then that's when, so those 3 wins gave me a big enough lead to not have the pressure of finishing it off at Pipeline.
Right.
Yeah. It was Brazil.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and you're looking so well. Like, you're still surfing, like you live to surf. I know you do yoga every day, you eat super well, you look fantastic. I can't ask, you don't want me to ask you how old you are because you don't.
No, I'm 73.
73?
Yeah,
Okay,
74 in October.
Still not riding males or anything?
I'm not riding 510s that are
Yeah, no, I don't mean that.
two and an
You're not
eight.
riding short boards, but what are you riding?
What I've done is my go-to board at the moment is like a 7.0.
Okay.
And
Epoxy?
Epoxy. All my boards are epoxy.
Yep.
And it's 20 inches wide and 2 3/8.
Okay.
To 2.5, depending on what I'm doing with it. But I moved the wide point back, and I put a really nice curve through the outline, so you can.
It serves like a shortboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. Yeah. And so I've been having fun on them. Yeah. Been good.
So you've really got the best of all. You got it all covered.
Well, look, I hit 50,
Yeah.
and I was as stiff as a board. And my 3 daughters were in hysterics watching me trying to stretch because I thought, shit. I better do something about this because when I tried to surf, I was like a tin soldier. I was like so stiff. And anyway, so I was 49, nearly 50, and I thought I'd better start to stretch because I'd never stretched. And I used to surf like Burley or anywhere. I'd surf like 8 or 9 hours a day. This would be 4 Billabong. And I could do that for like about 4 days, and then I'd just collapse.
Yeah.
These days, it's when I hit 50, I realised that I was just getting too stiff.
Yeah.
And I'd had arthritis in both shoulders, never stretching, paddling like crazy, like those things, like those days I did. And my neck was bad, my back was bad, and so I started to stretch. And I solved most of my issues.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I can do the splits right now. Yeah.
Can we see that?
Yeah, sure.
It's incredible. I've never been able to do that. Wow. Look at that. That's incredible. That is so cool.
No, well, it's all part of growing old, and it's like if you want to still be active, I think. When I grew up as a kid, I thought everybody stopped surfing or doing anything physical, sport, that was about 30, and they'd all just go to the pub or whatever. Anyway, so and never in my wildest dreams thought that at 73 that I'd be able to do the splits, or I'd be still surfing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's just.
But you look so fit too. Do you have any cardio in there, or is it just surfing?
If the surf's not working and not happening, then I'll jump on a treadmill and do 9Ks, 10Ks, something like that, and do it pretty fast, just to get your cardio going, or do a few laps in the pool. Just generally trying to stay as fit as you can.
So, Gordon, what are some of the philosophies that you've stuck by during your incredible career?
I think basically it's persistence. It's just being persistent, not giving up, working each day. Well, I never really had a plan, or Ren and I never really had a plan to be.
A goal.
Yeah, we're going to be this, we're going to be that. It was just do what you can every day, and the next day will look after itself. I think that was what we did, and to try to think outside the box. Just because, one of my famous ones, one of the ones I like to go by is that just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it can't be done.
Okay.
And try to, think laterally. That like I said, outside the box. Don't, because it's hasn't been done before doesn't mean that it can't be done. Doesn't mean that it wouldn't be good. Just try different things and really think about what you're doing. Concentrate and think about what you're doing. And it's usually you'll find that the person that's put the most effort into it is the person that's going to be the most successful.
Wow.
A lot of my best thoughts come in the middle of the night. Like I'm lying in bed. And I wake up and because everything's still, and your mind's still, it's like things can come to you. And you tend to let things flow through your mind. So I think that's probably one of your most creative periods is when you can cancel everything else out and just let your mind run as it wants to run, you know, without you trying to influence it to think in any one direction, you know, just let it open up. And I think there was a famous Buddhist that had an American scientist come to visit him, and he was filling up his cup of tea, and he kept filling it till it overflowed. And the scientist turned to him and said, "What'd you do that for?" He said, "It's like your mind. You've got so much in there, there's nothing else can get in. You know, empty your mind out and be open-minded about everything. And yeah, you'll find..."
That's what you do in the quiet, because you do meditation too.
Yeah, we just with them stretching usually.
Yeah, with them when you're stretching.
Yeah.
When it's quiet, this is what can happen.
Yeah.
It's great advice. Gordon, 44 years of running Billabong. Looking back now, what are some of your best memories? 44 years, that's incredible.
Yeah, I think some of the best memories are the early days. You know?
Yeah.
We had, when we first moved into a factory, well, initially I had, after, you know, we passed Marina up trying to do the 20 board shorts a week on the home sewing machine. We had outside machinists, and I'd travel anywhere from Kingscliff to the Southport, even Labrador. And I did that for probably 12 months, but the quality wasn't coming together because they all had different machines and they all had different stitch lengths, and it was looking a little bit shoddy. So we brought them all into our factory. We got this little factory at Hibiscus Haven, and we had 15 girls in there, and it was all very casual. I used to wear board shorts and a pair of thongs each day, you know. And I was the cutter, I was the pattern maker, the sewing machine mechanic, you know. So I remember when Myers came in, they sent 2 buyers there that they wanted to buy from us, you know. Yeah. And we didn't want to sell to Myers because they were a department store, you know, they were surf shop based. And anyway, so they looked at me and said, can we see the foreman? And I just laughed at them. I looked at the girls and said, "Who'd like to be the foreman today?" So they all put their hand up. But it was fun. You know, they used to have water fights when it was really hot and all sorts of stuff would go on in there. Yeah. But I think the early days were the fun days.
Early days,
It was, you know, the hardest, but also, you know, that had the most fun.
Yeah. And now, you're so happy with your family. You've got beautiful Deborah, your lady. Yeah. You guys travel the world together. Yeah. With Keone. Yeah. Mostly, and you're happy. I just want to say thank you, Gordon, for everything you've done for me. I love you. Good luck in the future with the company, and let's keep it going. Yeah, mate. Yeah. That's another Occ-Cast.